Tonight's story isn't just something you listen to, it's something you experience. Because in certain parts of rural Mississippi, people don't talk about what happens after midnight. Not because they forgot, but because they're too afraid to remember. In 2002, a small town, barely on the map, had a rule, a simple one. If you hear a knock after midnight, you do not answer it. Most people followed that rule. Marcus Reed didn't. And what came through that door was never supposed to be let in. So before we begin, turn off the lights, put your headphones on, and ask yourself one question. If something knocked on your door tonight, would you open it? This is American Nightmares. The summer of 2002 in rural Mississippi didn't feel like a season. It felt like something alive, something watching. The air clung to your skin, thick and unmoving, like it didn't want to let you go. Marcus Reed had lived his whole life in a town so small it didn't even have a proper sign anymore. Just a rusted board leaning sideways near the highway. Letters faded beyond recognition. Folks called it Briar's Edge, though nobody remembered why. At 19, Marcus had already made up his mind. He was leaving. Not for college, money was tight, but for anything that wasn't this place. The nights were the worst. Crickets screamed like they were warning you about something. And the trees didn't just sway. They leaned toward you, watching. That night started like any other. His grandmother had gone to bed early, muttering something about the woods being restless again, which Marcus laughed off. Old people always said things like that. But around midnight, the power went out. Not flickering, not gradual, just gone. Total silence swallowed the house. Even the crickets stopped. Marcus sat up in bed, his chest tightening as the darkness pressed in too hard, too sudden. Then he heard it. A slow knock. Not at the front door, not at the back, but from somewhere deeper, like it came from inside the walls themselves. He told himself it was nothing. Old wood settling, pipes, anything. But then it came again. 3 knocks. Hollow, deliberate. Marcus grabbed his flashlight, hands already sweating, and stepped into the hallway. The beam cut through the dark, landing on peeling wallpaper and crooked family photos that seemed different now. Like the faces inside them were watching him instead of smiling. "Grandma?" he called out, voice thin. No answer. He moved toward her room, each step creaking louder than it should have. The door was slightly open. He pushed it. The bed was empty. Sheets undisturbed. Window wide open. Curtains swaying even though there was no wind. That's when he noticed the footprints. Bare, muddy, leading from the window across the floor and stopping right in the center of the room. No exit, no return, just stopping. Like whoever or whatever stood there had simply vanished. Marcus felt something shift behind him. He turned fast, flashlight shaking, but the hallway was empty. Still, he knew he wasn't alone. That kind of knowing doesn't come from logic. It comes from something deeper, older. He backed out of the room slowly, breath catching, when the knock came again, this time louder, from the front door. Every instinct screamed not to open it, but curiosity and fear of not knowing pushed him forward. He reached the door, hand hovering over the knob. Another knock. Slower this time. Almost patient. "Who is it?" he asked, hating how small his voice sounded. Silence. Then, faintly, a whisper, not from outside, from right behind the door, saying his name. Marcus. His blood ran cold. Nobody should be out there. Not at this hour. Not in this place. He stepped back, but the doorknob turned on its own. Slowly, the door creaked open just enough for darkness to spill in, thicker than the night around it. At first, he saw nothing. Then the shape formed. Tall. Too tall. Then slightly, like it had to adjust itself to fit into the world. Its skin looked wrong. Too stretched. Too thin. Like it didn't belong on a body at all. And its face, it didn't have one. Not properly. Just a suggestion of features. Shifting. Trying to become something recognizable and failing. Marcus couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. The thing tilted its head as if studying him. Then it stepped forward. And the floor didn't creak. Not once. That was the worst part. It wasn't part of this house. It wasn't part of anything that made sense. "You opened the door," it said, voice layered, like multiple people speaking out of sync. "You let me in." Marcus ran. Instinct took over where logic failed. He bolted out the back door, feet slamming against the wooden porch. Not even bothering to look back. The woods loomed ahead, dark, endless. But they felt safer than whatever was inside. He sprinted into them, branches clawing at his arms, breath tearing in his chest. But no matter how far he ran, the silence followed him. No crickets, no wind, just that same heavy stillness. Then, after what felt like miles, he slowed, turned. The house was gone, completely gone. No lights, no outline, nothing. Just trees in every direction. Marcus staggered, panic rising as he realized he didn't know where he was anymore. That's when he heard it again. The knock. 3 times, echoing through the forest. And then, footsteps. Not chasing, not rushing, just walking. Calm. Certain. Like it knew he had nowhere else to go. Marcus turned in circles, heart hammering, until he saw it again between the trees. Closer now. Watching. Waiting. And then he understood something that made his stomach drop. This wasn't about the house. It was never about the house. It was about him. It had followed him. Or maybe it had always been with him. And as the thing stepped forward once more, the same words echoed in the suffocating dark. "You opened the door." So what would you have done? Would you have ignored the knocking or made the same mistake Marcus did? Because here's the thing. Stories like this, some people believe that once you hear about it, once you imagine it clearly enough, it knows you exist too. If you made it this far, comment, "I wouldn't open the door," or be honest and tell me if you would. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the nightmares, because we post new stories every week. And trust me, they only get darker from here. Sleep well tonight. Or at least, try to.